Welcome to Rugby. We are here in Reds, and I brought along the main man, Sir Peter Leitch, aka the Mad Butcher. Peter, Butch, Sir, how's best to call you? What's the best way to call you?
Well, if you call me Pete, I'll say, mate, my name's Sir Peter. If you call me Sir Peter, I'll say, no, it's only Pete, mate. So you can't win.
I can't win.
What you like. But can I just say, what a great place to bring me to interview me. A meat restaurant.
Because you are a butcher.
Oh, well, I used to be a butcher, but it's fantastic. You know, good to be here.
It's good to meet you first. I've heard so much about you from so many people. I've seen the messages on Instagram with Sam Tompkins. You've met all these famous people all over the years, and everyone's got hold you in such high stead. And in New Zealand, you really are a huge celebrity.
I'm just an old butcher that loves rugby league, to be fair. Yeah, it's been a wonderful journey, and I'm living the dream, to be fair.
How did you first get involved with rugby league?
Well, I started a little shop in a place called Mangere in New Zealand, in Auckland, and the local league club, the Mangere Hawks, come in and started buying a bit of meat. And the guy said to me one day, what about sponsoring the club? And I didn't know what sponsorship was. He said, you give us a meat pack, we'll give you a plug. And that's where it started. And it grew from that. I then became the major sponsor of the club.
Yeah.
I went on to manage the Kiwis in 2005.
How did you get from being sponsoring the club to managing the Kiwis? How did that? What was that transition?
Everything, for me, it's just been a ride. It's like a surfer riding a wave, and you just ride it.
Yeah.
You know, and it just come about. Daniel Anderson wanted me because I used to do a bit of work with the Warriors as a volunteer away manager and that.
Yeah.
And one of the things, if you give me a job, I get it done.
Yeah.
I'm not very bright. I don't know my alphabet times table. But if you say if you ask Bluey McKeelan, he'll tell you I get it done, you know. Yeah. And he'll also tell you I'm as bad at driving as Gary Hetherington is.
Gary Hetherington, absolute legend over here. You mentioned Bluey there, who obviously he's got a foot in both camps for the Leeds versus New Zealand game, because he won the game in 2005. Tell us a bit take us back to 2005, to that special time when you beat the Aussies for the first time since, I think, 1978, they hadn't been beat, and you were the first team to take that accolade from them.
If I break down and cry, you have to excuse me because I get very emotional about it.
Yeah.
We're leaving Auckland Airport, and a guy comes up to me and said, Butcher, you're wasting your time going. You haven't got Benji Marshall, you haven't got Nathan Kalis. And he rolled off about 6 or 7 names. I said to Brian, that's, maybe we shouldn't be going. And Brian's a very confident man, and he's rugby league through and through, absolutely through and through. And he said, we'll be right, Butch. He said, I love winning finals. And we come here and to beat Australia 24-0. If you ask me, I thought that was not a nally. But mate, I also be walking around the field and we're hugging each other and the emotion's very strong. And Brian saying to me, Butch, we love winning effing finals. You know, it was fantastic. But another little punchline to the story, we were staying at the Marriott. And we go back, and the Sunday night before, the bar was absolutely empty. Absolutely no one in there. We get back Sunday night because everybody's back there, chock-a-block. So I'm in the bar, I'm very excited. I'm up the bar and I said, can I have 10 beers and da-da-da-da. And the lady says to me, keep the noise down. I said, what did you say? And cut a long story short, she had no personality. So I went out and I asked to see the general manager. And the guy comes down and he's the duty manager. I said, mate, I didn't ask for the monkey, the monkey. I wanted the organ grinder. Now go and get him. So when the general manager came down, he was quite annoyed because he's having tea with his family. And then I said to him, look, if you're not careful, I'll take everyone out of that bar and we'll go down to the walkabout pub down the road. I said, we've just won. I said, I'm very emotional to get told this. And I said, another thing, it took me half an hour to get a beer and you charged like a wounded bloody bull. Well, mate, let me tell you, he brought the lady out, give her a dressing down, put 4 people in the bar, and I never paid for a drink the whole night. Like, not for the whole bar, but just for myself. I shouted plenty, cost me a lot of money, but look, it was a very special moment. The turning point of New Zealand Rugby League. The turning point.
That important, do you think?
Oh, there's no question.
New Zealand Rugby League now is getting bigger and bigger. number one in the world. Number
yes,
one in the world.
And the Aussies aren't happy about that. Mate, let me tell you, they have started their planning, their game attack right now. You know, they've got a new coach, you know, they get a new coach, everything, mate. And don't forget in 2006, they beat us in extra time.
Yeah.
Darren Lockyer got a penalty or something, I can't remember. But I'm the only manager that put 2 books out when he was manager. When we won in 2005, I put a book out called, what was it called?
When the Kiwis flew.
When the Kiwis flew from winners, from losers to winners. And then the next year, I put out a book called What a Year It Was.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to do a book because we got beat. But there's a guy in New Zealand, played for the Kiwis, called Dean Lonergan, very famous in New Zealand. And he came up to me in the street and said, Butcher, that was the best test match I've ever seen. I said to him, that means another book has to come out. So yeah. So look, yeah, very special, very special. And the reason I've done the books is so my grandkids would know what their granddad had done. A bit selfish. And when we had the book signing, we had a big book signing, and a guy came up and he said, a lot of photos of you in the book, which? I said, mate, you put a book out, you can have as many bloody photos as you like. Yeah.
It's been 10 years, a great journey with the team. What's some of the, give us some of the characters you've met along the way.
Well, first we just had a reunion. I put a reunion on, grand final weekend.
Yeah.
Look, some of the characters, Ali Laliti, you know, wonderful person. Where do you start, mate? They're all special. You know, one of the great things about the game of rugby league, we have some wonderful people. Like today, when the Kiwis had their captain's run, Adrian Morley come out the changing room, saw me, come straight over and said, how are you, Butcher? Give me a bit of a cuddle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what rugby league people are like. But there are so many people like Benji Marshall, you know, Hard Case. And it would be fair to single, you know, a couple out because there are so many. And I love them all, really. I don't only love the Kiwis, I love anyone that plays rugby league.
Well, we've got a game called Teammates, where we ask you all about your teammates, and we always ask the boys this question, but I think we should give you, Sir Mad Butcher, a little game of teammates at the end of this interview, so you can tell us about some of the boys across that period. Now, you are well known to be associated with the Auckland Warriors.
Vodafone Warriors.
The Vodafone Warriors.
Sponsors, mate. Vodafone Warriors.
The Vodafone Warriors. Now, I've got to ask you, can the Vodafone Warriors ever win the NRL?
I would put a bet on for 2016 for us to be in there.
Yeah.
We have a very good CEO called Jim Doyle.
Yeah.
And our tide is turning. Now,
Yeah.
I've been saying that for 20 years,
Don't
to be
say.
fair, but I do genuinely think it is going to change. This year has been a major disappointment, not only
Yeah.
for me, but for our fans. We genuinely thought it was going to be, look at this! Oh, look at this!
That's your large people.
There you go.
Just put everything together.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
Do you want anything else at all?
Now we should be all right with all that. It's awesome.
This is what I call a meal, a meat meal.
A meat meal. So, back to the question. 20 years you've been saying it. Can they win?
I think they can. This year has been a major disappointment, not only for me, but for the club, the fans. We got hit with some bad injuries. And, you know, a lot of people said when Sean Johnson got injured, you know, that's why we lost. We lost because the players didn't stand up, to be fair. And so we have to redress that and improve next year. But
Now, we read an article yesterday, that Sam Tompkins has voted the worst signing in NRL history. Now, we couldn't believe that because obviously he's such a big player. You saw him very up close and personal. How did you rate his time in New Zealand?
Oh, I love the man. I love the man. He was a lovely guy. I got to know him really well.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a little story. I have a home on Waiheke Island, and the Stony Ridge have a big New Year's Eve party, massive. And he rang me, said, oh, Butch, I want to go to the party, but I can't get tickets. So, you know, I ring up, sold out. So then I go down, get the tickets, and I say to the lady, I'll pay you double. No, no. So then I rang the owner, who I know a little bit. And I said, I got this big superstar coming. Mate, his name's Sam Tompkins, plays for the Warriors. He's got 98,000 people on Twitter. And the owner says to me, Butch, that's really nice. But he said, you know what? We just had Taylor Swift in here last week. She's only got 4.8 million people following her. Yeah. No, maybe we didn't see the best of Sam Tompkins, but as a person, you would not meet a nicer man, a gentleman, respectful, and a lovely mother, I might add as well. I met her, took her fishing.
Yeah.
You know, we take things for granted in New Zealand. I took her fishing. She'd never been fishing.
No way.
Yeah. But no, Sam gets a 10 plus from me.
Yeah.
We might not have seen the best of him, but let me tell you one thing. One man don't win a game. It's teamwork.
Yeah.
So we have to look at that. I'm disappointed to hear that, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed.
Looking forward to the Test series, England versus New Zealand. Can you give us? I'm going to ask you now, Sir Mad Butcher. I'm going to give you a topic, and I just want you to talk about it. Give us your opinion. Sir Mad Butcher on the Kiwis.
We've come away with a lot of guys ruled out for different reasons. We've got, I think, 6 debutants. It's going to be a challenge, I believe. But there's one thing about it. When the players put on the black and white jersey, they join a club, and it's a very special club. It's a brotherhood. It brings them tight together. And so I'm not going to say we're going to go undefeated. I'm not going to say that. But I know that we're going to give it our best shot.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens. Time will tell. We start off with Leeds, and that's going to be a challenge because let me tell you, Leeds want to win this because they've had such a great year, and this would be the icing on the cake to beat the Kiwis. The reigning, not world champions, but rated #1 in the world. You know, what a cap it would be for their coach and their players. You know, hey, they'd be dying, they'd be drunk for 6 weeks. But this is, but no, we got young guys, and I've got faith in those guys. I've got faith in the coach, and I think it's going to be a great series. And what the Rugby League people should do is sell out every stadium and make a statement. Rugby League's here to stay in Great Britain.
Top man. Are you recording? Yeah, it's just checking it. Sir Mad Butcher on the Hacker.
Committee, Kuraku. No, look, I'm not that good at it, to be fair. It's a special thing. It's a war chant.
Yeah. Where does it originate from?
I'm not a historian.
Yeah.
It started from the Maoris when they went to war. They done the haka, but it's a thing that's respected in New Zealand.
Yeah.
We don't play with it.
Yeah.
And when the guys do it, they do it with meaning,
Yeah.
passion.
Yeah.
And the idea is to intimidate the opposition.
Yeah.
You know, and if the opposition take the mickey, they could end up regretting it. Yeah.
Sir Mad Butcher on a future star for New Zealand. Someone we might not know now, but by the end of the series we will. So Sir Mad Butcher on the Kiwi future star.
Oh, that's a real hard question. We've got a couple in here. The young boy from the Brisbane Broncos, and I just can't think of his name now. Can't think of his name. A young boy from the Brisbane Broncos. I think he's got a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. Time will tell on that one because how they progress, you know. Yeah.
What about the young kid from the Warriors? Lolo, is it? Lolo.
Oh, that's a crucial again.
Sir Mad Butcher on the future star for the Kiwis.
Well, of course you got Lola Healer from the Warriors. He's a rock star, mate. Come up from the juniors last year. Mate, had an outstanding year this year. He's going to be a star. But you got the boy from the Brisbane Broncos as well. I just can't think of his name. So there's a couple, mate. But you know, it depends how they go. If they keep their feet on the ground, or do they get their heads up their backside and lose the plot?
Yeah.
All those things come into place. You know, and they get thrown into the public life and become rock stars. How do they handle it? You know, you look at a guy like Sonny Bill Williams, handled it so well. Yeah, really good. Yeah.
Sir Mad Butcher on England as a team.
I thought you were going to ask me about Emmerdale Farm when you said England. I mean, you know, one of the greatest TV shows in the world is filmed in Yorkshire, Emmerdale Farm. The England team, to be honest with you, I don't know a lot about because I say this respectfully, doesn't concern me. My love is with the Kiwis. My focus is on the Kiwis. Because you've got to remember in New Zealand, rugby league's the minor sport. Rugby runs the world. So I think.
Yeah.
But I know this. The Englishmen are fighters. They're fighters.
Yeah.
And they want to be number one in the world. They want to beat the Aussies like we do. And so I know that they're working under the leadership of a good friend of mine, Nigel Wood. You know, they're working very hard. And, you know, they're going to be good. I just hope we're better.
The Sir Mad Butcher on England as a place, as a country.
I love it. I love it. I love the people. I love the fans. And it's my motherland.
Yeah.
And the Queen gave me a great honour, knighted me. So, mate, I'm not going to bag the place.
Yeah.
I genuinely love coming to Leitch because of the people, and I love Emmerdale Farm. I'm addicted to Emmerdale Farm. All right, Coronation Street's the big mover and shaker in New Zealand, but I watch Emmerdale, 12:30 every day. No, look, history. We don't have history in New Zealand like you've got here.
Yeah.
I remember coming here once, going to a hotel. I had a tour party, and we got on the Terps, and it was maybe 1 o'clock. The guy kept the bar open, and it was light, low ceilings, and you know, it was really like a bar out of the 1800s.
Yeah.
And when we walked out, I'd never forget this. This is on my mother and father's grave. I thought I'd see Dick Turpin riding down the road. Seriously, it was so unbelievable. You know, like we don't have that. You've got wonderful history, wonderful people, wonderful country, but there's no place like New Zealand. New Zealand's the greatest country in the world.
Last one, Sir Mad Butcher on Stephen Kearney.
Wonderful man, a wonderful man, great coach, great player. What can you say? A legend in the game. Mate, I'm only here because he allowed me to come. To explain to your viewers, I come and paid my own way. I'm travelling as the New Zealand Rugby League patron, but without Stephen's blessing, I wouldn't be travelling with the team.
Yeah.
And so he's a very special person. He knows my passion for the game, and I have the utmost respect for him. He is a very, very nice man.
Mate, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. It's an honour.
Yeah.
Let's have a feed and let's
And
talk
mate,
about sport.
I'm not picking up the bill, mate. You'll pay it.
Done me today.